A wave of new listings hits the market in the Portland metro area and increases the supply of listings to purchase by 11.3%. I'm Ron Milligan with RE/MAX Select here in Portland's Pearl District, and what I have for you are our weekly market statistics for the Portland metro area. This is our sampling of RMLS data for both the Oregon and Washington sides of the metro area. So let's start with the big number, which is the number of active listings, our supply side of the equation. We ended up with 2842 active listings versus last week, 2552. That's an 11.3% increase in the number of active listings. One of the things that I've been doing recently is looking at where we ended up during our high mark. So usually Saturday morning is the time when we'll see the highest number of listings available for purchase on the market. That number was 3205. That was a really, really big number, and I haven't seen that number for quite some time. So we did see a really big number of new listings hit the market this last week, more than we've seen for months and months and months. The big question is, how did we do? Did the buyer demand eat up a lot of those listings? Did they go under contract, or are they still on the market? The answer to that question is, well, kind of yes and no. I mean, the buyers did put 866 homes under contract this last week, compared to 901 the previous week. That's down. I really would like to see that number increasing, just given where we are this time of year. Last year, that number was 1,079 during roughly the same week. So we are waning in buyer demand, and we know that. We've been seeing fewer offers on each home, and we've been seeing fewer list showings on each property as it hits the market. And like I said, you know, May into June, those are usually our best, most active months in the real estate market. Usually 1 week in May is going to be the high point for the average sale price for the balance of the year. We'll hit that point, and then average sale price will reduce throughout the balance of the year until things kick up again next spring and our market kicks back into gear. So yeah, it wasn't terrible. It could have been a lot worse, you know, with that huge number of new listings, 3205. We experienced a gain of around 300 listings. Last year, when I looked at those numbers from last year, checked my notes, and there was also during roughly the same week a 200 listing gain last year. So maybe it's not as bad as it feels once we put it in a little bit of context. So the homes that did sell, how did they do on the market? Well, we sold 747 homes. It's a pretty good number. That's up from the 692 we had the previous week. Last year at this time, that number was around 807 when I pulled those numbers. The homes that did sell, they spent around 16 days on market on average. Last year, that number was 19. The median came in at 5, and last year the median was 5. I did pull one new number that I haven't been checking because I didn't have to. I didn't have to bother with it in the past, so I don't have a lot of context for it. But that was the number of homes that had price reductions in the last 7 days. That number was 353. So I'll keep an eye on that, and we can see if that number starts to increase or if it kind of stays the same, so that maybe we'll have a little more context as we go forward. Average sale price came in at $650,763 763 versus roughly the same week last year, $572,668. That's a 14.1% increase in the average sale price. The median came in at 11.8% higher this year versus last year. So that's the second week in a row that we've had that number in the 14% range. Like I said, we want to see that number high this month because this is typically our highest average sale price for the year. So we'll just keep an eye on that and see how that does. On average, homes that sold ended up selling for 105% over their asking price. So 105% of their asking price. So those are the numbers for this week. Some good, some bad, some let's watch it and see what happens. I'll just keep an eye on these numbers and share them with you as we have them. And then as always, if you've got your own experiences or anything to add, please throw them in the comments down below. I love it when you interact with me. And then also feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next week with more numbers.